I decided that I would make a video discussing the renowned, infamous N word, the word nigger. That's a word that is not part of my personal lexicon. I don't use that word. I recently put up a video entitled Black People versus Niggers. And on the word niggers, I put it in quotation marks, so common sense would tell you that I put it in quotation marks because I am quoting those who choose to refer to themselves as that. And I'll be making more videos like that with that title, Black People versus Niggers. But again, I'm quoting those who choose to prefer to refer to themselves as niggers. So what I have today is a number of clips that I've meshed together, that I am going to mesh together. I haven't done it yet. I'm doing this sort of randomly and spontaneously about the word nigger and how different people feel about it. Now, one thing I find very interesting and intriguing, actually, is how so many white people are, you hear this frequently, and you see it online quite a bit. They seem to have this thing, a lot of them, to where they really have this need to use the N-word. And the excuse they always use is, well, black people use it, why can't we? Well, here's the thing. A lot of us black people do not use the N-word. We don't refer to ourselves as niggers. And we'll be damned if we're going to allow you to refer to us as niggers without repercussions. And I say this to anyone, because this is one of the things you hear frequently. You absolutely have freedom of speech. You have freedom of expression, and you can pretty much feel whatever you want to feel. Just know this, you are an adult, and as such, you must deal with and face whatever consequences there may be inherent within your actions. It's cause and effect. Actions have consequences, and if you're big enough, bad enough to face the consequences, if it's that important to you to refer to a black person as nigger, other than online where all the little cowards like to do it, and they do it frequently because that's the only time that they feel that they can safely do that, is behind the comfort and security of their little computers on the internet, which is pretty laughable and pathetic, especially when you have blacks like myself who grew up around whites. I've lived around whites my whole life. I mean, I have a lot of history with white people, but I can count the number of times a white person, even when I'm surrounded by nothing but whites. I mean, I've been the only black on a football team, and I think there was one other black on the football team. I've been the only black on a classroom. I was the only black on a wrestling team. I was the only black in a lot of situations. Just me. And white people wouldn't go there. And the few times it did happen, it didn't end up well for them. I'm not saying they always got beat down, so even though that did happen. But usually I was pretty cool with everyone. And my white friends who were not racist wouldn't stand for it either. They took more exception to it than I did personally. Because my attitude as a child especially was, you call me a nigger, I'll call you a nigger back. I asked my dad, because we went to white school, so, hey, what do you do if somebody calls you a nigger? He said, well, you call them a nigger too. Of course, we asked, okay, well, what if they put your hands on you? He said, then you put your hands on them. And if you can't beat them, you pick up something. But you don't ever let anyone. And, I felt that was good advice. He was telling us not to react violently, but to be prepared to defend ourselves with violence if necessary. And sometimes it was. But usually I found that, particularly if you are black and you're surrounded by whites, that one good, serious, severe beatdown is all it takes to change people's attitude. But anyway, let's get on with the video. We're going to start with this one. Okay, this is a professional football player. He's at a Kenny Chesney concert, and as many of, just like the white racists that come to my videos who freely like to use the N-word, he works he's on a football team with a lot of black people, and he does not use that word, but he gets around a bunch of white people, and all of a sudden he's emboldened to use it. But he forgot that in today's modern age, everyone has cell phone cameras. This was recorded, and then it was posted on the internet, and then there were repercussions for him.
That's a very separate issue, a black man using that word to a black man, than what I'm about to talk about.
Yes, it is.
Let's keep it right here for this moment. That's an issue you can address that I cannot address, Stephen A. I don't know what that feels like, but I do know this issue. And to me, this is strictly my personal opinion. I would have cut Riley Cooper on the spot yesterday. As you just pointed out, I have said many times on this show, over many years on this show, that word that he used is the ugliest, most vile, despicable, unconscionable word in the English language. And when it comes out of a white man's mouth, he has crossed a line over which you cannot return. So in this case, Stephen A., you've crossed a line, especially that you can't cross back when you're the member of a pro football team, as you pointed out, on which more than half the players in that locker room are African Americans. And I realize he apologized, and I realize that you took it as a sincere apology. I don't think you can apologize as a white man for using that word.
But I know for in America, what I'm about to teach you is exactly how it goes. Now, first off, forget whatever nigger says in a dictionary. Whatever they say nigger means in a dictionary, forget all of that. It means nothing. What I'm telling you right now is what the word actually means. And what the word nigger means is it is an insult to a person of African descent. Period. That is it. Any other definition or meaning for this word is nothing. That is the only one. So knowing that, if you're not a black person and you say it, you must be crazy. Because what usually happens to crazy people who say it is things like this. And it's very common. This word even helps to keep black people and white people separated. Keep us from coming together faster.
Here we have a bunch of friends sitting around, and one thing that happens often is some people tend to forget just how offensive that word is. And because they're cool with you, because they regard you as a friend and you regard them as a friend, they think that they can say it. I've had that happen myself. And in one particular situation, I was in a car with, 1, 2, 3, 4 white people. They were all friends. Except for the guy who said this, I never really regarded him as a friend. We were default friends. We were more associates. I was friends with the other people, and by default, I was friends with him, but I never really liked the guy, to be honest with you. But he slipped up, and he made a reference to someone. It was some white guy had done something. I think he picked up a chair and hit someone with it, and he said something about that was just like a nigger. And then, of course, everything got quiet and silent, and my buddy, who was a good buddy of mine, who was driving the car, his name was Alex, I know in his mind he said, "Oh shit." I know that's what he said, and I don't know, it was like something in a movie. I said, "Alex, turn the radio down." He turned it down, and I said to the other guy, I said, "Excuse me." I'm going to say his name was Marcus. It's not his real name, though. I said, "I want to make sure I heard you correctly. You want to repeat what you just said?" And, of course, he got nervous. He said, I said, no. Do you want to repeat what just came out of your mouth? He says, well, I didn't mean anything by it, because I wasn't referring to you. He says, I don't see you like that. He said, to be honest with you, I forget that you're even black because you're cool. I said, oh, so in other words, I'm not like those other niggas, huh? I said, let me explain something to you. I am black. I've always been black, and I'm always going to be black. And if you think those people are niggers, you're calling me a nigger too. And there are consequences to calling me a nigger. I said, Alex, pull this car over. And he's like, oops. He said, just be cool, man. I said, no, I am going to be cool. But I want you to pull this car over so I can handle this. He knew what was going to happen. And he said, well, you know, I can pull over, but, you know, just, I don't think he really meant anything by it. I said, oh, he meant something by it. He meant exactly what he said. And that's cool. And he wasn't referring to me, and that's okay, too. And maybe none of you can understand this, but I just feel obliged to kick his ass right now. And that's just a matter of fact. Kick his ass, and then whatever happens after that just happens. Because I don't tolerate that from anyone. And even though he wasn't referring to me, he said it in my presence. I know he slipped up and said it. But obviously that's how he thinks, and that's how he feels. And so the rest of you people the same way? They said, oh, no, I don't. I said, okay. I said, you know what? Even if you were, it would probably be somewhat okay. But the bottom line is, he slipped up, he said it in front of me, and there are consequences to that. So he's about to get an ass kicking. Hey, I said, you know, it's one-on-one. I said, in your mind, Kimmel, because see, I'm not going to be that nigga that picks up a chair. I want to pick up both my hands and beat the shit out of you. And I would advise you to do everything you can to defend yourself. I said, or do you think you can stop me? He said, well, I don't want to fight you. I said, yes, you do. You want to fight me, but you're afraid to. You want to fight me because you're a racist punk and you think I'm a nigger. You just never would have said it to my face. That was a subliminal thought and feeling that you have towards black people. And yes, I am black. And damn it, you didn't forget that I was black. You just forgot that I was here. So you disrespected me, and I'm going to show you what happens in a situation like this. But anyway, we ended up hashing it out, and we didn't pull over, and he didn't get his ass kicked and all of that. But I never looked at him the same again. And that's something that many white people that are cool with black people just cannot wrap their brains around. Watch this video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Somebody just slipped up and used the word nigger. This guy's outraged over it, and the rest of them are trying to justify it and understand it and act as though it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Watch this.
We were free. You were hundreds fucking years. We were fucking slaves. We were fucking your bitches. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Really?
See, these two assholes here, they think it's funny. He's reacting to the person that said it. These two find humor in that. And I honestly don't think that there are many people, I think a lot of people out there, especially a lot of white people, are never going to understand it. And you know what? I say to black people, don't even try to explain it to them. Like the other guy said, it is what it is. And it's not going to change. So there's no point in having a debate about it or even a discussion.
Somebody call in. Are you serious?
This guy says, it's not a big deal, man, really. Yeah, I get it. I know what he's saying. Hey, you know, it's like, I didn't mean anything by it. It's not a big deal. Why are you reacting like this? And of course, this guy's saying, people call me Dago all the time. That's one of the common arguments you're going to get. People call me this, I've been called that. Nobody gives a fuck what you've been called or how you feel about it. If someone tells you that they find something highly offensive, why the hell would you use that term in their presence if you know they are going to be offended? You cannot talk somebody out of being offended by something. Let me explain this to you. I worked at a job, it was Intel Computers, actually. And there was an Asian girl there, and I believe that she was Korean, I think. And I always use the term Oriental. And I basically was speaking not about her or even her ethnicity, but I basically used the word Oriental in reference to an Asian person. We were having a nice, pleasant conversation, her and I. And she interrupted me as I was speaking, and she corrected me. She said, Asian. I said, what? Excuse me? She said, not Oriental, Asian. And I was a little surprised by that because I always use the term Oriental. I said, so I don't know, is that term Oriental offensive to you? She said, yes, it is. I said, is it just you or do other people feel the same way? She said, some do and some don't. I said, okay, no problem. I said Asian, and then I went ahead and I completed my story. And guess what? I think that was in I'm going to take a wild guess, 1980. It was probably around 1980. Where was I? I was working at Intel. It was probably 1983, 1984. The bottom line is, from that day till today, I have never, ever, ever referred to an Asian person as Oriental again. I never even asked her why it was offensive to some, or what was offensive about it, or what was the history about it that would cause it to be offensive. I did not care. It does not matter, because unless you're a first-class asshole, why the hell does it matter to you why someone finds something offensive? When I say I've not used the term Oriental, that means in the presence of an Asian person, in the presence of all black people or white people or anyone else. Because it's only my intent to communicate, not to offend. And if I can describe the people that happen to be Asian by using the word Asian rather than Oriental, then that is what I'm going to do. Now, these dumbasses who basically say, well, I use it with my friends and black people use it too and rappers use it and all that crap, you know that there are enough black people that find that N-word very offensive. And if you were not a dick, that's the only thing you would need to know. Unless you just choose to be a world-class asshole and get this look on your face when someone is offended by it, you would just take it to heart, accept it for what it is, like I did the word Oriental. I cannot tell you why that's offensive. I've never researched it. I could probably get on the internet right now and find out. I don't really care. What I do care about is it's not my intent to offend. I stopped using that word Oriental. In place of it, I use the word Asian. If some people want to call themselves niggas but a whole lot or offended by it, you should accept that and respect that and just go with the flow. Just trying to explain. Why do you even have to argue with these assholes? He's saying it's in the song. He's got this confused look on his face. He doesn't get it. This guy's got to explain to him. Why the fuck should he have to explain to you why he finds something offensive? Oh my goodness. You know, and actually this guy's being very tolerant with your ignorance.
Yeah,
now this guy's saying, if someone calls me, I listen to songs that say this and that, and oh man, it's just ridiculous. It really is that you even have to go through that. Now it could have gone like this. Let me show you another video. It's another group of college students who are sitting around, all friends, having a conversation, and one guy slips up again and uses the N-word. Watch what happens.
I'm just saying that. Just say nigga, just once. I don't even like that though, man.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to analyze this. He says, it ain't even like that, though. In other words, hey, you know, I'm not even trying to be offensive. I'm just saying the word nigger because I want to. I'm not trying to offend you. Don't even take offense to it. It's not even like that. I'm cool with you. I'm not against black people. That's why you're here. I mean, whatever. That's what he's saying, basically. And that's supposed to be good enough.
No. What he's saying is, who's saying...
You woke up and you just say, all right, today I'm going to go around, I'm going to start saying nigga. What? Don't answer this question. What's going through your mind? Like, I just want to know.
Of course, you know, there's a few videos like this. You tell them very nicely, I'm offended by that. Don't use the word nigger in my presence. And then they keep doing it. And I honestly don't believe they're as stupid as they are acting. I honestly believe they are testing the black people in these videos. Because I've got a few. I really believe they are testing you to see how strong your resolve is. To see what they can get away with. I mean, I get the impression that there are people that actually literally get off on this. I mean, almost like it's sexually gratifying because it's like so important to them to be able to say nigger around black people or to black people. That's why you have all of this commentary all over YouTube. How come I can't say it? Well, you certainly can say it, but like I said, be prepared to deal with whatever those consequences may be.
Yeah, it ain't even nothing though.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
He said
Young
young boy.
17, 18, 19?
Oh, yeah.
How old are you, man?
I'm 21. That's not 22.
I'm 20. I'm 24.
He just got through saying, you can't even say that no more. You can't say that around me anymore. That should have been the end of it. The way it was with I and the Asian girl. Even now, I can't even say Oriental. And I don't even know what's offensive about it. That's because I'm not a disrespectful person.
You can't say it around me no more. Last time saying nigga in here.
The guy keeps saying it. He's pushing it. He knows what he's doing.
And I'm telling you, I'm gonna mop your ass in here. So you about that? Is that really? Just let me know. Just let me know. Like, that's just respect. That's just respect. You doing what? Saying it? Right. Okay. I'm telling you.
That should have been the end of it. He said, I'm done, dog. He said, you done what? Saying it? He should have said yes. I don't understand why you find it so offensive, but if you do find it offensive, I won't say it again in front of you. I'll wait till you leave and then I say it. And the guy would have said fine, because all he said was, don't use that word around me. And you have two choices. Don't use the word around him or make sure that you don't come around him again. Because if you don't respect him enough to not use something he finds offensive, then that means you don't respect him at all. Why are you coming around him in the first place? Or why is he coming around you? You obviously do not regard him as a friend. You obviously have no respect for him.
I don't even care, nigga.
You see there? He says, I don't even care. He just got through giving him a fair chance to respect his wishes, his feelings. And the guy goes, I don't even care. I don't even care, nigger. Calls him a nigger again. And of course, you could tell from her expression, she's shaking her head like, oh my God, this guy is so ignorant. It's embarrassing. And she has the same reaction. I can't believe this guy is still saying nigger after Dante or whatever the hell his name is politely asked him not to use that word again. He's really, really pushing his luck. That's what she's thinking. That's what she's thinking. That's what he's thinking. Another guy walked out and he says, hey, answer his question. That's what he said to the white guy. Answer his question because he was obviously embarrassed too. See, does again. I'm going to talk nigger. I don't care. In other words, I don't care how you feel. I don't care what you say. I'm going to talk. And if I want to say nigger, I'm going to say it regardless.
Okay, that's fine. That's cool with me. That's fine. I'm not going to fight in your house. That's cool, bro.
Now watch this. He says, that's okay. I'm not going to fight in their house. That's what the black guy says. Now watch what the white guy says.
That's cool, bro. Just remember. Just remember you said.
Now I'm going to play this back because some of you might not caught that. He was trying to let it go. He was saying to himself, okay, you're ignorant. There's no hope for you. I tried to enlighten you. It's a waste of time. She's shaking her head. He's shaking his head like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. So he says, okay, fine. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to fight in their house. Instead of letting it go, the white guy turns around and says, and I want you to listen carefully. He says, oh, you're not going to fight in their house. You want to take it outside, bro? You want to step outside. He actually is calling the guy out, which lets you know that he knew what he was doing in the first place. He was trying to provoke a reaction. He got a reaction, but not the reaction he wanted. This guy's letting it go. The white guy says, do you want to take it outside? Black guy says, is that what you want? The guy says, yeah. He says, okay, now watch what happens. And listen so you can hear it for yourself. Let me play it back one more time because you might have not heard it. And the reason I'm doing this is because on the original video, a lot of people miss this. And I don't want you to miss it. You want to go outside, bro? One more time. I want to make sure you hear it for yourself. Is that what you want? Watch this. He wanted to go fight. There it is. That's what he wanted. He said it. Wouldn't let it go. Or you thought he wasn't playing. Or you thought he was playing.
Come here. Don't move. Don't move.
Okay. They say that's enough. Brandon, okay. In other words, they're saying, yeah, he deserved an ass kicking. But, okay, you made your point. Hopefully he won't call you a nigger again. He deserved to get his ass kicked. I'm glad he did. But enough is enough. That's what they're saying, basically. Let's look at another one.